Hello everybody, I'm George from Ireland and this is the M25. I've chosen a relatively quiet time to do this but forgot to bring my microphone. So this is Europe's busiest motorway. It's the ring road around London, or the London Orbital Motorway as it's sometimes called. So as you can see, this area is 5 lanes in either direction. So it was built between 1975 and 1986. It was finally completed, but obviously sections of it were operational from the late 1970s. It was supposed to be 3 lanes in either direction, but they had to widen it to 4 lanes at least everywhere, 5 and 6 lanes in some sections, because it goes near Heathrow Airport, which is the United Kingdom's busiest airport by quite some way, and about the 5th busiest in the world. Anyway, so then you can see there's an emergency lane, which the police, fire services, and ambulance are allowed to use. You might have to park there in an emergency. And just ordinary housing beyond it, some horses grazing. They're ruminating on that field there. The cows browse another field across the way. So this little road I'm walking over is above the M25. So you get an idea what it's like. So as early as 1944, they planned building a ring road for London. It's also the longest ring road in Europe at 117 miles, about 188 kilometers. So surprisingly, it's much longer than MCAD, Moskovskaya Автомобильная Кольцевая Дорога. But that's because it goes well outside London, the M25. It goes through 6 counties: Berkshire, Surrey, Kent, Essex, Hertfordshire and Buckinghamshire, as well as, of course, Greater London itself. So the Beeching Report in 1962 closed about 2/3 of the United Kingdom's railway stations. The UK had been closing railway stations since the 1920s. It really speeded up in the 50s, because in the 50s the automobiles came within the price range of the bourgeoisie. By the 60s they became affordable for the proletariat, and motor vehicle ownership quadrupled. You're not allowed to use a motorbike, disabled vehicle, or God forbid a bicycle on a motorway. So motorways in the United Kingdom are numbered, just M1, M2, M3, M4 and so on. M1 is London to Edinburgh, so the M25 is the 25th one built, although not all of the ring road around London actually is the M25. A bit of it is something else. So that is the M25, and in 1990 M25 the movie was released. A guy attached a video camera to his dashboard before dash cams were invented, and did a complete circuit of the M25, and then he sold videos of this 360-degree tour of the M25, and it had over 100 mail orders, including one from Belgium. The filmmaker's mother said it was the best film she'd ever seen. Wow. Well, you know, that's motherhood for you, creates an unbreakable bond with her offspring. So it wouldn't be my sort of preferred viewing material. And there's a fast lane. You can see that the nearer towards the centre of the road, the faster you go. The more towards the edge, the slower you go, because you're going to turn off their various junctions. So one day it had over 262,000 vehicles using it. Sometimes it had 15% of all the UK's road traffic. So that the usage was much greater than had been anticipated. So 15% is a lot, considering that London is, well, not quite 15% of the population, more like 12% of the population, somewhat depending on how you count London as being. So it's obviously rather flat, and so this is just inside the M25 that way, and the other way is just outside the M25. There's only one air base inside the M25, RAF Hillingdon. So that's just a little bit about the United Kingdom's busiest road, the M25. People drive on the left in the United Kingdom, as we do in the Republic of Ireland, as we do out throughout most of the Commonwealth. So 70 miles an hour is the speed limit on motorways in the UK, though people regularly get away with breaking it. It's not metric, it's not kilometres. That's enough from me. Toodle pip.